Hey everybody, Athalar here, and today I have some Heroes of the Storm gameplay. Now this one isn't a particularly good game from me, or a particularly good game from my teammates. I actually uploaded this as sort of an example, but before we get into that, I'm gonna say a couple things first. So, we've been playing a little bit of Heroes of the Storm. It's a fairly fun game. It's, you know, I don't know, I mean, it's interesting. It's certainly easier than League of Legends. I like it better, I think, just because I'm more familiar with the lore of the characters. Um, I believe I talked about this in one of my other videos, but there are both positives and negatives to the complicatedness of League of Legends, or the other MOBA or lane pusher games, whatever name you prefer. And I think that this game has some positives and negatives for how uncomplicated it is. For me, it's nice because I can get into it pretty easily. I would say the community is about the same as it is in other MOBAs. Sometimes they're toxic, sometimes they're amenable. Sometimes they're really helpful. Cool teammates. In any case, I was playing Tyrael in this game. And Tyrael is probably my favorite of the melees, and I like Jaina is probably my favorite of the ranged classes, with Vala as my second favorite of the ranged classes. This game, I sort of uploaded it as an example of what happens when your team doesn't play objectives, I think is probably the best way to say it. And doesn't pay attention to pinging either, because I sat up at top lane for most of the game, dying pretty much, trying to hold them off. And you'll notice here in the beginning I made some stupid pushes, places where I shouldn't have pushed. I should have just waited. But on the other hand, I don't think it would have really mattered if I had or hadn't pushed there, because my teammates weren't helping me. My teammates weren't really playing objectives. There was like one other person playing objectives, and I realized this pretty quickly on. So at this point, even at this point in the game, like 2 minutes into the game, 3 minutes into the game, or maybe just a little shortly after this, I pretty much gave up playing objectives and just tried to put as much numbers on the scoreboard as I could. Just like any World of Warcraft battleground. The reason for that is because I realized that my team was not. There was only one other person on my team who was aware, I don't know, of the objective. This was bad. That was a poor use of my explosion there. But there was only like one other person on the team, and I think that person actually leaves partway through this, just gives up and leaves. Now, I've pretty much given up at this point as far as hoping for somebody to help me and hoping for that my team can do objectives. So I'm just sort of trying to kill enemy players as much as possible. Now, that's still fairly fun, but the thing that's frustrating is because this map, I would say, is one of the easier maps to figure out as far as objectives. It's pretty simple. You capture the shrines and get the Dragon Knight. It's not like the Garden Terror, which you have to figure out how you get the seeds and everything. I would say this is probably the easier map to learn. So I feel like I think, in my opinion, people should play a couple games of the matching against and with AI, just so they can figure things out, instead of going immediately into matchmaking. Obviously the quick match is not. It doesn't really matter. It's not league play or anything, so it's a good way to get into it, playing against players. So, doing that, yeah, you're gonna get lots of people who don't really know what they're doing. And it's frustrating, but the thing is, you just have to put up with it. People are gonna use this playing against players to learn the game either way, so there's really no reason to be toxic to them. I try not to be toxic to anybody as long as they're not total assholes to me. If somebody's really beating on me, then I'll say something and ignore them. I'm one of those people, yeah. I'll say something rude back and ignore them. Put them on ignore so I can't see them. I do that in Counter-Strike. I do that in, in other MMOs, you know, Star Wars, World of Warcraft, all of those. I don't put up with it. I'll just put them on ignore. So I think that's the best way to deal with it, is just to put people on ignore. But in any case, this is just an example of what happens when your team either doesn't understand or doesn't care about the objectives. I would say Heroes of the Storm is still a pretty fun game. I've encountered less of the toxic community in this game than I have in League of Legends, and I've played less of League than I have, or I played more of League than I have of this game. I played less of League than I have of this game, and I've encountered more of League's toxic community. And the same goes for Counter-Strike. I mean, I probably played 120 games, 150 games. Well, no, probably a few less than that. And a lot of my games, the people are just incredibly toxic. So I think the best way to handle that is just to, you know, ignore them. Just ignore them. Use the ignore function in the game and ignore them. I think that's the best way to deal with it. In any case, Heroes of the Storm is a pretty fun game. On a side note, a channel-related note, I will be bringing some Star Wars The Old Republic content back to the channel. I may be streaming that as well. The group of people that I play various games with, Counter-Strike, World of Warcraft, etc. with, we will be returning to Star Wars The Old Republic, at least until Star Wars Battlefront comes out. Or another good MMO gets updated, patched, or an expansion, something like that. Additionally, I will be playing WoW 6.2. I'll be uploading some of that, just Battlegrounds, etc., gearing, since it's time to re-gear my character. So the main thing, or the other thing, is that I will also be playing some Counter-Strike, and I'll be live streaming that. On a related note to that, please make sure to check out my live stream. It's twitch.tv/shadowygaming. The link is in the description below if you didn't catch that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And, as I said, make sure to check out the Twitch. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. And I'll leave you with the rest of this footage.
This world. I must act. Eternity awaits. Eternity.
Rise again and take your revenge, hero.
Without delay.
Power gathered within the shrines. Unleash the dragon's wrath.
Light the way.
Activate the shrines. Take the dragon knight's power. Fort
Remain
destroyed.
steady.
Sure.
Light the way. Eternity awaits us. Without delay. I must act. Without delay. Embrace judgment. Indeed. The battle is mine. I must act. Light the way. must act. Not enough magic.
The dragon knights. You have been slain. Dragon shall rest no longer. Unleash its power.
Indeed.
Free the dragon. Unleash its power.
Head to the healing fountain, quickly.
Your enemies have dismantled a keep. Your core is under attack. A hero has abandoned the battle. It seems you have lost a keep. Double kill.
Eternity awaits us. Light the way.
Soon the shrine shall awaken, heroes.
Our time is short.